Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'm pleased to rise in support of this important motion by the member for Newcastle at the start of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. I recognise that while positive steps have been taken in recent years to reduce violence against women and protect victim survivors, much, much more needs to be done. Last Saturday, the 25th of November, was the United Nations International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. On the Saturday before that, at a suburban home in Perth, a 63-year-old woman, a mother and grandmother, was murdered inside her home. Another woman killed in the very place that should have been her sanctuary. We're repeatedly told that a woman is killed every week in Australia by someone known to them. I wonder if we're becoming immune to this fact. It's an outrageously alarming statistic. This year, it's even worse than one a week. In the 47th week of the year, more than 65 women have allegedly been murdered in Australia. That's one every 5 days. How is it that this is still happening? Family and domestic violence don't occur in particular postcodes. In every electorate, Curtin, Cowan, O'Connor and all over the country, there are women and children for whom home is not a safe place to be. Probably the most common response we have when we start talking about violence at home is, why doesn't she take the kids and leave? Why doesn't she report it to police? Or I'd have upped and left it immediately if it was me. But if you're not in this situation, it can be really hard to understand the challenges. A recent report from Australia's National Research Organisation for Women's Safety found in many cases of domestic violence, perpetrators are middle-class men, well-respected in their communities, with low level of contact with the criminal justice system. Their abusive behaviour can be hidden from sight. They often control and monitor their partner's activities, with the violence escalating if they think she's contemplating leaving. Besides, where could they go? Right now in Western Australia, we're witnessing a perfect storm of escalating rates of family violence, increasing living costs and a housing crisis. The rental vacancy in WA is currently at 0.7%, with more than 30,000 people waiting for social housing. This means a growing number of vulnerable women are remaining in violent and abusive situations to avoid risking homelessness. I was recently told about Jessica, a nurse working in one of Perth's hospitals, who was in exactly this situation. Jessica didn't head home at the end of her exhausting shift, but instead took her car with all her possessions inside and went to the Safe Night Space in East Perth. At the Safe Night Space, she was able to access some basic amenities such as a shower and kitchen facilities, plus support and a safe place to sleep. The alternatives for Jessica, who had no family support in Perth, were to return to her physical and psychological abusive partner or sleep in her car. Both options presented a high risk to her safety, and both options are unacceptable. The Safe Night Space, where Jessica had sought refuge, is an initiative of the City of Perth and Rua Community Services. The service has been operating for 2.5 years, with the City both funding the service and providing the building in East Perth. The City of Perth should be applauded for supporting such a service. However, unless there's a last-minute reprieve, the Safe Night Space will close its doors next week when its contract with the City of Perth ends. After extensive lobbying, the state government has recently agreed to fund the service for the next 2 years, but the City of Perth is unwilling to extend the building lease where the service is operating, intended to convert it to community use. Without an extension to the building lease, the Safe Night Space has no other options. There are no other premises available and the service will close. With more than 17,000 people signing a petition to keep the Safe Night Space open at its current East Perth site, this tells me that the community, including many of my constituents, share the view that protecting women from violence is a very good use of a community asset. The City of Perth and the state government can take action to support women impacted by family and domestic violence by keeping the doors open to the Safe Night Space in East Perth. I couldn't think of a better way to start this important campaign.